Well, today we were looking for a bounce back. The last 48 hours, the horses have been flat as a pancake for the most part. It was very frustrating racing the horses Wednesday night. Then Thursday afternoon, they were terrible. With the exception of Gorgeous Package, who raced very, very good. And then coming into today, we were obviously hopeful. We knew we had drawn all the SAA tests on the horses. The only horse that we had some questions about was Spitfire. We redrew the test this afternoon, and he was at the highest point of high normal. So where we could race him, it's wonderful to look at the report and say, well, that's very high normal. I don't know. But let's look at the horse, the actual horse. He ate all his breakfast, he ate all his lunch, he was feeling good, he seemed good, everything looked good. He was in no distress, he looked like he was ready to go race. I got to the races, I said, okay, well, we'll race him. We'll at least warm him up and keep an eye on him. I'm not just going to scratch him just because. He's 9 to 5. If he is good and ready to go, then let's go. Right before the races started, I get a text from Tim. We were just about to bring 3 Point Blue Chip down to the paddock, took his temperature, and it was really high. What's that? Not 3 Points, sorry. Spitfire. 3 Points might not have been high, but it certainly raced like he was. So Spitfire Overseas, Amy, my sidekick, is with me tonight. So Spitfire Overseas, his temperature was high. And nothing that a shot of Banamine, anti-inflammatory, just like Tylenol, will take that down, but obviously you can't race on that. So as soon as we administered the Banamine, as soon as the vet administered the Banamine, the night was over. And it had to be administered. The horse couldn't race like that. You got to do right by the horse. You can always race next week and the week after. So we had to scratch him. Now, I just mentioned 3 Point Blue Chip. With respect to 3 Point Blue Chip, same thing. He ate everything, seemed good, got his Lasix, jogged, warmed up, seemed fine. And even as I went by Amy in the post-parade, I said, I think he'll be very good tonight. There was no indications there was anything wrong until I get in the race. When I knew, when he didn't spring off the car like he wanted to get at it, when he was gapping, usually he'll grab a hold of you in the hole, and you kind of got to just let him coast up in behind the horse in front of him, and then he'll settle. There was none of that tonight. He was flat. And the biggest problem I had was he was 2 to 5. I'm following the third favorite. I'm going to be in a position to be second over. And if I don't move 3 Point Blue Chip at 2 to 5 second over, and I get swallowed up in the middle of the pack and don't get out, guess what? Judges will be calling right after the race. And there'll be a lot of very, very angry people. So, as it's always, you have to take care of the horse. I have to do what's right for 3 Point Blue Chip. I have to do what's right for you. My partner's with 3 Point Blue Chip. I'm also a driver, and I have to do what's right for the gamblers. And at 2 to 5, in a perfect spot to move him second over, I have to get him out and going. As soon as I exited the hole and got out in the 2-wide path, he knew what was up. He was going to protect himself. He just was flat. He raced like a lot of horses out of our barn raced tonight. Now, I'll tell you this important. Now, we ship horses back and forth all the time. Tim's barn, our barn, back and forth. And I told you a story about how Jason had to scratch yes 2 weeks ago because he had a high temperature coming out of Lasix. Now, I say coming out of Lasix, it had nothing to do with Lasix. They noticed when he returned to the barn after getting his Lasix that his temperature was high, much like Spitfire's tonight. It's important you notice that. You may not notice something like that. So it's a good pickup by Tim and his caretakers. Because, you had a bunch of horses racing tonight. You're running around. Spitfire seemed good all day. There'd be no reason for you to think he wasn't. So for you to just take a step, just take a breath, reevaluate the situation, and realize that he maybe now is not feeling as good as he was earlier today. Take that temperature and realize it was high, because there's lots of times you could race that horse and that could have been a real problem. So as upset as I was that he didn't get the race, I appreciate the extra effort by the caretakers in recognizing he shouldn't race. And Tim, of course. So, two different situations that frustrated me tonight. And as I said to Amy today, yesterday, whatever, as I said to you guys, I can be angry after a race, but who am I angry at? We did everything we could to safeguard the horses racing, to make sure they were all right, and obviously 3 Point Blue Chip was under the weather, but there was no indications of it before the race. was fine after. I just saw him. We took a trip up to the barn afterwards. He's been hitting that lag, so they had it iced. They were icing him, and he seemed fine to me, but he's not right now. And obviously that trip last week getting parked, it isn't hard to hurt his feelings. And whether it was sickness, it's easy to figure out. We're going to scope him. We're going to draw blood. Now, tonight's race was not hurt feelings. Tonight's race was missing cylinders. So you got to figure out what went on and how to get to the bottom of it. But it is worth noting there was no temperature, no discomfort. What's that? Yeah, I know it's a 55. This road's always at 55. I don't know why they leave this road at 55. No one on this road. Even I got pulled over on this road about 3 months ago, going towards the meadows. And even the police officer pulled me over and goes, listen, I know nobody does 55 on this road, but, you were speeding. What's that? You realize that all the cars in front of me are going away from me. Okay. I'm doing my best here, but... So there wasn't really much that we could do about the 3-point blue chip race. Just we had no reason with the SAA being low. He was fine, well within the norm. See? Well, nobody does 55 in this road. It's insane. I'm doing 79 right now, which is easily getting pulled over. And every car in front of me, all 8 of them are going away from me. Well, now we're catching up. So, it's just one of those things. Listen, it's a real, for lack of a better word, it's a shitty week, right? The Colts that raced on Wednesday were flat. Now, a little side note, we did get the blood work back, and it was confirmed. Uncle Danny had an old tie-up of 1100, which means not only was he a little bit sick to scope last week, he tied up last week when he raced also. 1100 as an AST with a normal CK means that is what you consider old tie-up. We drew it the day after the race, so most definitely that high muscle count was probably up around 1800 on race day. I'm sure we would have drawn his blood after he raced in Scioto, and I don't remember any indication or any talk of high AST. I'll have to double back with Jason with respect to his blood from last week, but regardless of if it was drawn or not last week, the reality of the situation is at some point in the last week or 10 days, he had a fairly significantly high tie-up level. Now, just to put it in perspective, horses, when you say, oh, he tied up a little bit, you might say 300, 400, 500, 600. Now, greatest ending, the king of all, the king of all horses that tie up, his would be right around between 5,000 and 5 million. That's a little high. I've seen him as high as 18 or 20,000, but an average issue for him would be around 5,000. Most horses, 1,100, especially for a 2-year-old, is more than enough to affect it. Easily more than enough to affect how they would race and how they felt coming into the race. So Uncle Danny, the blood matches the mile. That's the easiest way for me to put it to you. Now, with respect to Emerald Tom, who I thought out of all of the horses raced as good or better than anybody, high liver. Scale of 0 to 67, he was 77. That's pretty high. We're gonna have to work to get that down. But truthfully speaking, he was pretty good also. We did the blood work on Supermind. A weight count of 11,000. He is sick.
Does that mean like 11?
11, yeah. But that's diluted, right? So the vets will tell you 11,000. I'm regurgitating that. But when you draw your blood, it will come back as 11.2 is what his was, which is significantly high, again, for a baby. Who was the fourth blood that I drew? That weight count was high also. I thought
you said it was Gymboree.
It was Gymboree. I'm sorry. Thank you. It was Gymboree. She was 10.8, and her lymphocytes were high. Her platelets were low. Her bilirubin was up, which, can you remember what that means? That's right. She bled a little bit, and she was sick. So she was sick and bled. Now, we got this blood work back after she's entered in to go on antibiotics. That weight count will come down. She'll be well within acceptable levels to race. She'll be at 100% next week. I wouldn't put her on the front, put it that way. I think she's going to need a little help, but we will be able to have her body in more than acceptable levels for next Wednesday's race. So all 4 horses that raced terrible, all 4 of them, had more than enough reason to do so. So all the bloods equaled the races we were watching. As you can imagine, as I say this right now, it would have been catastrophic to me to have those bloods drawn and have them come back and say, no, there's nothing really wrong there. That would have been extremely hard for me to absorb. So put Wednesday away. We moved to Thursday, same type of thing. We know the SAA on Millie Girl was high. She scoped sick. On to Friday. We had to scratch Spitfire Overseas. Frustrating. 3-point blue chip raced flat. But again, that's going to be, we are going to get to the bottom of that very, very quickly. Now we'll start rewind to the start of the day. We started off the day great. Actually, the second horse raced great. Captain Doolittle, it's not his fault. He's slow. He's just a slow horse. He's not as fast as we need him to be. In fact, if the deadline for the Monday sale was 5:29 tonight, he would have been in the sale. And that's not me being mad at him. Again, I can't be mad at a sick horse. I can't be mad at a slow horse. What am I going to be mad because Captain Doolittle just can't go enough? He's trying as hard as he can. I can tell you that right now. It's not that he's not trying. He's a 2-minute trotter that will get to 59. I told you when I qualified him, I think he'll work his way to 58, and he very well may as a 2-year-old, but not nearly as quickly as I'd like him to. The horse we raced yesterday, Go Strong Hanover, yeah, tiny bit sick, I'm sure, but again, he needs to do a lot more. Both those colts just need to do more. So Captain Doolittle's race is over. I come off the track. I'm a little depleted, but I can't. What am I going to do? Be upset because our slow horse went slow? I wanted him to be a little better. He was in a place to follow closer and do a little bit more work, and he just didn't. My God, they're doing a lot of construction here. I don't remember this construction here. I drove home yesterday. This was not here yesterday.
But it's like separated.
What do you mean? That's what they do here on this road. They'll put like those on-ramps with stop signs at the end of them. This is the only road I've seen them do that. Then we got to watch, no, I didn't get to watch at all. I couldn't figure out how to watch or where to watch the race in New Jersey. The 3-horse field with Perfect Thought. She won the race. Scotty went pretty easy on her. Now, I haven't talked to Scotty since the race, but I know Megan said she scoped her. Just a couple of drops of mucus, nothing there. Certainly no blood, no pimples, no nothing. But got the job done. So winner in 54, our first stake win of the year in New Jersey. So now we've won one in New Jersey. We've won one in Kentucky. We've won one in Pennsylvania. Did we win one in Ohio yet? Yeah, Judy's Money, 1-2. We've won 2 in Ohio. Still, it feels a little sluggish. So Perfect Thought was the winner. I know it looks like money, and I told Amy before, I told all of you guys, they breed different air, right? The horse that won the race and set the track record, he missed the world record by 1/5 of a second. Hill Exotic, different animal. He's a killer, that thing. And I didn't want to come first over, but as you can see, the closer I get to the rail with Looks Like Money, the harder it is to get him away well. I thought I left from the 6 or 7 hole and got the Jeremy where he had to let me go 2 weeks ago, and then last week he stuffed me in the hole. I tried to get out of there as quickly as I could. I just could not beat him out. And Guido D can leave enough. I'm not getting ahead of him, so I had to settle for the 4 hole. And I know what that means. I know that Ronnie got away somewhere mid to the latter part of the pack. I'm going to be first over. I just want to wait as long as I can. And when I moved him, well, Hill Exotic was just starting to trot really good then too. I don't think I even got Guido D headed until after we come out of the last turn. And I don't know if you saw it, but trust me when I tell you, Looks Like Money raced his butt off tonight. That was as hard as he could race tonight. He raced very, very good and fought tooth and nail right to the wire in the middle to hold off the horse on the outside and to get past Guido D on the inside. The horse is just racing great. But 50-3, he's a 52 trotter. That's what he is. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's a very, very good horse that just ran into an extremely talented animal tonight in Hill Exotic. Man, that's a beautiful horse to watch. He just floats over the ground. raced as good as he could, finished third. So again, Captain Doolittle raced as good as he could. Looks like money. I jumped over Cherry's Girl. Now, when we raced Cherry's Girl last week, scope with a little bit of mucus, but this time of year, that you're going to find that in most scopes for young horses. Pimples, mucus, and what you might find is a tiny bit of blood. And we did find a few specks of blood last week. Tim had worked on her with the nebulizer, the Flexi Neb or whatever, all week long. Dried her up. Raced her tonight. She raced great. See her come off the car? Whew.
I was surprised you did that because I know she put steps in.
No, she put steps in when I was right behind, when I was in the 4 or 5 hole where she could see the person in the starting gate and it scared her. But with the 6 hole, she just screamed off the car. I got her down to the rail quick, settled her. I could hear Ronnie come out from behind me. I almost wanted to just stuff him back in the 2 hole, and I said, she bled last week. You're going to have to go easy. Raced great. Tried to run that horse down. We scoped her after 3 out of 5 for blood. That's 5, I think. That's our 5th horse. 5th young horse has to be on Lasix. I looked. Like, they're just going so darn fast right now. Like I see Virgil's got a couple horses on Lasix. Burke does. Everybody does. They just seem to be going fast. Like, it wasn't that long ago. 58 would win you a Stallion Series race all day long. No, Rico had to go in 57-3 to win his 10 days ago. So I guess you heard what I just said. I guess if she was on Lasix and didn't bleed, there's a realistic chance I'd run that horse down. And there's nothing you can do. There's nothing we can do any more than we've done. We've prepared her for the race as best we can. And she still bled a little bit. There's nothing I can do about that. Trotted in like 56 and a piece. Raced great. But there's no denying what was there. So she'll go on Lasix for her next start, and I think it's even fairer to say that she can probably stay in the sire stakes. I don't think there's a reason not to. Now imagine if she'd been bleeding a little bit all along. Trotted in 56 tonight and did it the right way. Laughed really handy, followed perfect. I like that she just sits right on Ronnie's helmet, starting into the backstretch. You see, she was just literally bouncing off his helmet. So I guess the missing link from where we're at and where we'd like to be very well likely could be Lasix. I can't say it's not. Either way, she has to go on it, and she will. Now, Yo Mister hasn't raced in 3.5, 4 weeks. What turned out to be 2 weeks off was 4 weeks off. He had to be short. Brett certainly drove him like he was short. Finished up with the pack, but again, finished 6th or something. I would expect a greatly improved performance next week from Yo Mister. Lifting Legend, it did what he could. I think he trotted. I think they're at the half in a minute and a fifth and went a mile in 59-1, if I'm not mistaken. He probably trotted in 2 minutes and 3/5 or 4/5, 59 2-minute trotter. He can hang out in the Prospect Series all summer long. But was 4th tonight. Handy, good looking horse, trots nice. He was handy, but again, can only go so fast, right? That's just how he is. And then we had 3-point blue chip. No, I jumped over Rico again. So Rico Tubbs scored him down. He felt great coming off the car. He makes a break and touches his foot. Now it's a chicken and the egg thing. I noticed his foot was bleeding when he pulled up. Did he hit his foot and make a break? Did he make a break and hit his foot? Generally speaking, they make a break and hit their foot. Now cut just where the bell boot sits. Probably the veterinarian was there and she goes, I would rather her put a stitch or 2 in there, just because it'll heal perfectly and neatly. It won't be a problem after. It's only skin, but when you leave it there, right, it can become, it heals rough. It's easier to hit and open up again. And again, it can be frustrated. It can be irritated by the bell boot. So it's better to put a couple of stitches in it, maybe put a set of toe weights on it, take those bell boots off. And the biggest problem I have is, why did the break occur? He got a little squirrely coming off the car last week when he was a winner, but he was fine afterwards. Tonight he was roughing every straightaway. That was not his only break. He made another one coming to the half for no particular reason at all. Why? I don't know. He didn't seem lame to me. He didn't seem really sore to me. A little choppy. Everything is fixable. That, you hear me talk with the stitches. This isn't a deep wound. it would heal very, very quickly. And again, it would just be a matter of giving him 2 days off to let that set, maybe put a bandage on it, like a polo or something when he jogs, and have him prepared and ready for his next race. But I'd asked the vet also, could you give him a once over? Usually when the horses trot the turns great and you lose them in the straightaways, babies this time of year, it's usually always that left stifle. So it's just a maturity thing. So she was going to have a look at that stifle when she got up to the barn. It's 10 o'clock. She's still working. A trooper, that very nice lady. I can't remember her name, but she's a very nice lady. And she was, the veterinarian was going to put those 1 or 2 stitches in Rico tubs. So I can't, in all fairness and in all honesty, tell you hit himself or made a break or break and hit himself. But if I was to guess, I would say the latter. He made a break and hit himself. So why did he make the break? That is the question we have to answer. Then we went to 3-point blue chip flat, Spitfire we had to scratch, and Highest Honors is our last horse of the night. I forgot about him. He's not going to race probably for another 30 to 40 minutes or so. But again, I think they said he drew the 8-hole. 3-1 from post 8, yeah. Tough spot to leave from on at Scioto. It's not like the staggered gate here at the Meadows. It's a flatter start and a tough spot to leave from for Highest Honors. So I have no idea what Aaron's going to do with them, but not a favorable position to be leaving from by any stretch of the imagination. Now tomorrow, we start early. When I look at the calendar, it's wrong. It has Sweet Lake and Leland Hanover racing at 11:50 and 11:30 and 50 p.m. Flip that over. They race in the morning, right? 11:30 post at the Meadows tomorrow, and my first drive is Sweet Lake at 11:30 in the morning. Then Leland Hanover, they're in the daily double. Then we have Perfection Hanover, My Name's Swaney, Arrowhead Hanover. Then we have Patrick de Piranha. And in the middle of all this, we finish off the day with Blue Rare at Kawartha Downs 3-2 tomorrow, going for $25,000. Riding the rodeos at Georgian Downs in an overnight. We have Aunt Lily at Northfield Park. Jason Merriman's going to dust off his colors and drive Aunt Lily tomorrow at Northfield Park. So a busy day tomorrow. Aside from a major power outage with 3-point blue chip and a mistake from a rookie trotter in Rico Tubbs, not a bad day actually, right? I don't see the same issues that we had earlier in the week, and we've now identified the ones that are problematic. There don't appear to be any issues for tomorrow. So good luck, and hopefully we have a much better Saturday than we had a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So with that, I will leave you now. I will talk to you tomorrow. We'll talk about a little bit about tonight also, maybe tomorrow morning. Amy and I, do we have time to do any videos tomorrow? I have to leave at 9:15, and you have to leave at 9:15 also. Actually, is that practice place for Ollie's closer to?
Oh, I never looked.
I think it's not the one we were at the other day, so you have to leave at 9. Maybe Amy and I will get up at 8 o'clock tomorrow. I want to go into the barn and see the horses off that are going to Kentucky, talk to Dr. Latessa, and maybe Amy and I can do a couple of videos before I leave in the morning. We'll see. But for right now, my night is over. Your night is mostly over. Just my partners and myself left with Highest Honors in a little bit, so good luck to you. Hopefully better luck tomorrow and Sunday as we head into, thank God, a new week. August starts next week here, and it starts. No, isn't that nuts? And it starts with Kentucky. So take care. I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.